Welcome back. You're watching Media Week. Well, we've had the latest radio ratings out from Nielsen, Survey 6 for this year. Let's have a look with our co-host James Manning. From Media Week, James, there we see the numbers for Sydney. And
big mover in Sydney. All the talk up here was Kyle and Jackie O'Show, the front page of the newspapers this week. You know, despite all their turmoils, the audience have stuck by them. You know, and this, you know, the move was that big that a few of the advertisers that maybe haven't moved back yet will have to sort of think about, you know, where they're putting their money if they want to reach the biggest audiences in Sydney.
All right, turning to Melbourne there and 3AW extending its lead.
3AW again, the sort of standout performer. Ross and John at Breakfast Show, 3AW, massive big mover. Gold was up a little bit, almost at the expense of Mix at Sister Station. Nova had a little rise, and Triple M, Eddie Maguire, Hot Breakfast, yeah, it did quite well this survey.
Yeah, I think we've just missed there. 3AW was actually up 1.2% and Fox FM was down just a fraction in a number 2 spot. To Brisbane there, Nova, the winner, but not by much.
Yeah, and Nova and 97.3 sharing the number 1 breakfast show up there. Again, Triple M doing okay. B105 sort of lagging the market a little bit. 4KQ, the AM music station, did reasonably well.
Turning to Adelaide there and Mix, clear leader.
Yeah, Mix had a great survey. Number 1 overall. 5AA still hanging in with the number 1 breakfast show. Nova, Maz, Dan and Shane are doing pretty well there still. SAFM, bit of interest there. Some news shows we might talk about in a minute. And Triple M still lagging.
Okay, and just finally to Perth as well, and what we saw there for Mix 94.5.
Yeah, look, Mix still at the top. Nova had a great survey though, underneath it, did very well there.
We've also had radio revenue numbers out too, and it was a little rocky, particularly Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne down about 7%, so yeah, not good for them. But Sydney and Perth markets both up a couple of percentage points, so they were doing okay.
You mentioned there SAFM, the launch of these 2 breakfast shows, which was quite unusual.
Sure, yeah, something called the news feed. Rebecca Morse, 10 newsreader, starting early at 6 a.m. there with a guy called Berger, I think it is, doing an hour of news, which is quite different for the Today Network, known as sort of home of the hits, you know. So we've sort of got an hour news program in the morning, and then a more traditional Hayley Pearson breakfast show starts at, Hayley and Angus starts at 7 a.m, goes for 3 hours through till 10 a.m. So a little interesting twist on the market there. See how it goes. Bit of an experiment though for Southern Cross Australia.
Just turning to newspapers, of course, last week we were at the Pampa Future Forum, annual gathering of newspaper industry, and we also, of course, have on the Friday night the announcement of the Newspaper of the Year awards, and the winner, the Australian this year.
Yep, absolutely. It's won a couple of times in the past decade, I think, but it's and they're doing some interesting stuff with their digital properties and all that, which is part of the overall award. A good win for News Limited there.
And the Sunday Age taking out Sunday Newspaper of the Year.
Sure, yeah, just appointed a new editor. The old one wasn't good enough apparently, but there's still one Sunday Newspaper of the Year. But she stayed with the paper, so they're in a new role. But yeah, it'll be an interesting year ahead for them.
And just in terms of the other winners for daily circulation between 25,000 and 90,000.
Yeah, Launceston Examiner down there in Hobart. The judges said, look, they're doing some great things. They haven't neglected their print customers, so they're still looking after them. They've got some great sections in the newspaper as well.
And the AFR winning the award for Best Tablet.
Yeah, AFR, and I think they might have only started entering some of these Pampa awards recently, maybe the AFR, because I don't think they've won a lot in the past, but yeah, their tablet only, we've talked about, introduced only a couple of months ago, so it's picked up an award already, so that'll look good in their trophy cabinet.
Absolutely, and Best Website of the Year.
Courier Mail, 2 years in a row for them, yeah, okay, it's do a lot of good work up there. They compete with the Fairfax property up there, the Brisbane Times, so it keeps them on their toes, but yeah, seem to be doing a good job.
And the Hegarty Prize winner, this is for what, most promising executive under 30?
Management potential they look for there, yeah. Matt Cunningham from the NT News picked up that award.
All right, some big winners there. Well done to all of them. Just some other news in the newspaper industry, and this is big news. We've had a lot of editorial changes already this year, as we've talked about. Neil Breen, obviously editor of the biggest selling Sunday paper in the country, deciding to leave.
Sunday Telegraph, sure. Look, said this is a decision that's weighed on his mind for the last 6 months, you know, because they've sort of merged the operations of the Telegraph into a 7-day newspaper, if you like. So the one editor will oversee everything. So Neil said, look, they look for some other roles in the company. He's decided, look, no, he's stand back and take on another challenge. Of course, he ran the News Limited online operations, I think, at the London Games, so he's only recently back from that. So he did a bit of media when he was over there too, talking about the games, Australia's performance at them. So maybe there'd be an international opportunity for him, or there's been talk he might television here. He's got, he's on the Today Show, good relationships with the Nine Network and Fox Sports. He used to edit a sports magazine, a sports reporter, sports editor, Alpha magazine. So he's got a good track record in sport. Fox Sports, something like that, perhaps as well.
We saw the celebrity paparazzo Darren Lyons, of course, on Excess Baggage earlier this year on Nine. Reports, though, that his company Big Pictures could be in trouble? Yeah,
Darren hasn't been talking a lot to the media. It's unusual for him not to be sort of out there on the front foot. But digital's had a big impact on the business models of lots of media companies, and photo agencies haven't escaped it either. He's relocated back. He's from Geelong and he's got some investment properties down there, owns a pub and a restaurant down the coast, I think. So he's moved back to Victoria and he's focusing on that side of the business now, I think.
Just in terms of magazines, we've seen the former Murdoch Magazine's owner Matt Hanbury looking to sell Murdoch books in talks with Alan and Unwin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, again, it's another digital business. A lot of people download their books now. Hard copies just aren't selling in the same quantities they used to. He sold Murdoch magazines a few years ago, Marie Claire, Who magazine, Men's Health, to Pacific magazines. He kept the book division, but it's been trading on harder times.
Changing times, isn't it? Just finally, magazine publishers too resurrecting the MPA.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, I haven't had an MPA for a while here. Robin Parks has joined on as the executive director, I think her title is. She used to run Freeview here, the sort of lobby group for free-to-air television. Matt Stanton's recently taken over the chairmanship, the head of ACP, soon to be Bauer Australia perhaps. So yeah, they'll be sort of ramping up their lobby group again, I guess, if you like.
All right, let's have a look now at the TV ratings, and this is for week 36. Free-to-air top 10 first. X Factor doing great.
Yeah, X Factor doing some great business. It's soon to go into the live shows next week. Been running 3 nights a week so far. Great business. And Sunday night for 7. Wow, is that doing some great business?
Yeah, pipping 60 minutes there. I'm just turning the page and you can see House Husbands, that new series from 9, also appearing in the top 10.
Started very well for them. They'd be happy with that. And Winners and Losers doing some good business. I think we might have mentioned that last week too. It's hanging in there as one of the best dramas on there at the moment.
Let's have a look at the top 5 sports programs on subscription TV for week 36.
Most watched AFL game ever at the top there, and one of the might be in the top 10 now of all programs on subscription TV. It's over 400,000.
All right, and the non-sport top shows there, most watched The Simpsons on Fox 8.
Yep.
Just some other news, and we've seen Oztemp complete a new deal to provide data for Metro homes, and obviously the panel's going to be a lot bigger, and just talking too about the initiatives in terms of time shift viewing as well. Yeah, well, they're already doing the time shift viewing. I think it's spread to looking on your PC, so catch-up TV, people look on their computers. I think 10% of all the homes, the panel's been around about 3,050 homes, I think. It's going to pump that up to 3,500 homes. That's just in the metro markets. There's a separate panel that's outside of Oztamp's area that look after those regional homes. And just finally, very quickly, we were talking earlier about Tens ratings. Obviously, during the Olympics, it's been pretty tough. But we've seen the Paralympics deliver some big numbers for ABC. Yeah, look, it's done great. ABC One's having a fantastic time at the moment. They did some highlights programming, and also ABC Two showed a lot of the Paralympics and did some record numbers for that. I think like ABC Two outrated Network 10's primary channel in Adelaide, and it was pretty close to it in other markets recently, thanks to some of those Paralympic audiences. Wow. Okay, plenty more to talk about, of course, next week. James, great to have you on the show as always. Thanks, Brodie. James Manning from Mediaweek there. That's all we've got time for. Thanks for your company.